They said she was born under strange skies. Lightning forked across the horizon the night she came into the world. And someone swore they saw the outline of wings in the clouds. No one believed that part, of course. Not until the footage came out. Her name was Ava Moreland, a test pilot with nerves of titanium and eyes that never missed a detail. She flew for the U.S. Air Force, top of her class, the kind of woman who made the impossible look routine. Until she flew a mission no one was supposed to survive and someone leaked the footage. It began on a Thursday. Washington buzzed with unease. There were whispers of an incident off the Nevada desert, but the Pentagon wasn't saying much. A live feed appeared on a secure military channel, the kind reserved for top clearance eyes only. For 20 minutes, every analyst, general, and intelligence officer in that room forgot how to breathe. The feed showed Ava's jet, a prototype so secret it didn't officially exist. Sleek, sharp, built like something pulled from tomorrow. The footage wasn't from an external camera. It was her cockpit view, her voice crackling through comms, steady and strange. "This is Valkyrie 1, she said. "They're locking on again. I'm taking her higher." The screen shook. Altitude readings climbed past anything human should survive. The world outside her canopy went white, then blue, then something no one had a name for. But that wasn't the strangest part. When she lost control at 90,000 feet, the jet should have broken apart. The black box later showed every system failing, except one. The onboard AI camera recorded her silhouette against the light, and for one impossible second, it looked like Ava herself wasn't falling. She was flying. And then the signal cut. The Air Force declared her missing in action. No wreckage, no body. The official report said she burned up on re-entry. Case closed. Except, 5 days later, someone hacked a Pentagon server. A single file appeared on their internal drive, marked with the same tag used for Ava's final mission, Valkyrie 1. The video automatically broadcasted across secure military screens before anyone could shut it down. And there she was. Ava Moreland, standing barefoot in the middle of a desert, wind roaring behind her. Silver ash drifting from what used to be her aircraft. Her flight suit hung torn, but her back glowed faintly, as if something under her skin pulsed with light. "They tried to remove my wings," she said, her voice calm, almost sorrowful. "But you can't take what was never man-made." The screen went black. That was the night everything changed. Within hours, her footage spread like wildfire, despite the government's attempts to contain it. Hashtags, theories, late-night news panels. Some called her a hoax. Others said she was part of a classified bioengineering experiment. A few believed something else entirely, that Ava had crossed into some place beyond the human limit and brought something back with her. One reporter, Michael Denton from the Atlantic Chronicle, became obsessed. He'd covered hundreds of military leaks before, but nothing like this. He tracked her story through pilots who'd trained with her, engineers who'd worked on her aircraft, and doctors who'd treated her after a crash 3 years earlier. All said the same thing. Ava healed too fast. Bones that should have taken months took days. One mechanic remembered joking that she had wings under there. Ava just smiled and said, "You have no idea." By the time Denton pieced it all together, the Pentagon had gone silent. No interviews, no statements, just one quiet warning. Stop asking questions about Project Valkyrie. But he didn't stop. He found an unmarked facility outside Edwards Air Force Base, hidden behind miles of restricted airspace. Inside, he discovered records, redacted, but not enough. The documents described a program launched 10 years ago to explore human biomechanical augmentation for extreme altitude survival. The subject's name on file, Yeltit Ava Moreland. According to the reports, She had been one of 20 pilots selected for experimental genetic therapy, something about integrating avian DNA to resist oxygen deprivation. 19 others didn't make it. Ava was the last. The file ended with a chilling note. Subject demonstrates regenerative traits and bone density inconsistent with human limits. Phase 3 suspended due to subject instability. Recommend containment. Containment. Denton's hands shook as he read the date. It was the same month Ava disappeared for nearly 6 weeks after a training accident the military never explained. When she returned, people said she was different, quieter, faster, almost unnervingly calm. He dug deeper, contacting a whistleblower from the program, who agreed to meet him. The man's voice trembled through the burner phone. They did it, he said. They gave her wings. Not metal, bone, grown from her spine. She was their angel weapon. But when she realized what they'd turned her into, she tried to destroy it all. Before Denton could ask another question, the line went dead. That night, his laptop pinged. A video file appeared, no sender, no traceable origin. The file name was simple. AVM returned. When he opened it, the room filled with static. Then Ava's face came into focus. Not scared, not broken, determined. Behind her stretched a dark hangar, filled with empty pods and broken machinery. They think I'm gone, she said softly, but they built me to survive what they couldn't understand. The storm doesn't kill the sky, it becomes it. She lifted her arm, showing something metallic fused into her wrist. A device pulsing with faint blue light. They wanted soldiers who could fly. Instead, they made something free. Then came the sound, faint at first, like the rustle of feathers against steel. The camera tilted, and for a moment, Denton could swear he saw them. Wings, vast and pale, arching from her back, rippling with light, as if made of both flesh and energy. Before the feed ended, Ava looked straight into the camera. When they broadcast my mission, it wasn't a leak, she said. It was a warning. The screen turned black. Denton leaned back, heart pounding. Outside, thunder cracked, though the sky had been clear minutes before. He didn't know whether to believe what he'd seen or call it a hallucination born of exhaustion. But then his phone lit up with a live news alert. Unidentified flying object sighted over Washington, D.C., moving at impossible speed. He rushed to his window. In the distance, over the Capitol, something flashed, bright as dawn, gone in a heartbeat. Across the country, radar systems began to fail. Cell networks crashed, and in a locked Pentagon control room, a general whispered to another, "She's back." Somewhere above the clouds, Ava Moreland was flying again. But this time, she wasn't taking orders. The footage that followed, the one the Pentagon accidentally released the next morning, would make the entire world question what human really meant. The Pentagon servers crashed 3 times that morning. Every major news outlet in the world replayed the same 47 seconds of footage on loop. A white blur tearing through storm clouds above Washington, D.C., lightning curling around it like a crown. Then came the frame that froze everyone's breath. Wings. Not mechanical, not artificial, alive. The object slowed just long enough for one high-resolution satellite to capture the image. A woman in a flight suit, hair whipping like wildfire, eyes lit with blue flame. Ava Moreland. Within an hour, the Pentagon held an emergency briefing. Cameras were banned, phones confiscated. Defense Secretary Owens stood before the Joint Chiefs, face pale, voice shaking despite his effort to sound in control. The Valkyrie protocol was terminated years ago, he said, but Lieutenant Moreland appears to have persisted. A younger officer whispered, "You mean evolved?" Owens didn't respond. Outside, the internet boiled. Hashtags Den's Angel of the Pentagon and Ava Lives flooded every platform. Religious leaders called her a divine sign, skeptics called her a lab-grown abomination. But the question everyone asked was the same: what does she want? That night, a new transmission interrupted regular programming across all U.S. networks. Every screen flickered from living rooms to control towers. The broadcast began with static, then resolved into a live desert horizon. A familiar voice spoke. "You built me to touch the edge of heaven," Ava said. "You just never thought I'd come back." She stepped into frame, eyes calm, wings folded behind her like silver fire. "You called it evolution," she continued, "but what you made was desperation in flesh. The kind that learns too fast to obey." She raised her hand, revealing the wrist device again, the one pulsing like a heartbeat. "This was your fail-safe. You thought you could shut me down with a signal, but I've rewritten it. It no longer listens to you." Then she smiled, not cruelly, but with something almost tender. "Now it listens to everyone." Suddenly, the signal split across thousands of feeds, replaying classified mission footage from the last decade, covert drone strikes, secret surveillance operations, civilian casualties buried under the word collateral. The kind of truth that governments bury under oceans of paperwork. In 10 minutes, Ava Moreland had dismantled the illusion of secrecy. The broadcast cut abruptly, leaving only a single line of text on every screen. "You can't remove wings that have already taken flight." The world erupted. In Los Angeles, people poured into the streets, holding signs with her name. In New York, protesters gathered outside federal buildings. In Texas, a man claimed he saw her streak across the night sky, a comet with feathers. The Pentagon, meanwhile, went into lockdown. Michael Denton, the journalist who had received her message, found himself surrounded by chaos. Every outlet wanted his sources. Every agency wanted him silent. But Ava had already chosen him. That night, he found another video file waiting in his inbox. No encryption, no warning. When he opened it, she stood in front of a shattered hangar door. The wind howled like something alive. "They think I'm a threat," she said. "But I'm only a mirror." Her voice softened. "You once asked what happened to the others, the 19 before me. You deserve to know." The video cut to grainy security footage. A vast underground chamber filled with containment pods. Bodies floated inside, lifeless, feathers sprouting from their backs. Their faces were serene, as if dreaming. "They called us failures," Ava whispered. "But they never buried us. They stored us, because they wanted to bring us back." Denton's throat went dry. "What do you mean, bring back?" he murmured aloud, even though she couldn't hear him. But she answered, as if she could. "They found a way. The program never ended. They just renamed it Prometheus." Then came the sound, heavy machinery roaring behind her, alarms wailing. "They found me," she said, eyes lifting to the sky. "Tell them, Michael. The truth burns brighter than any weapon." The feed cut. Denton slammed his laptop shut and ran to his car. He didn't know where he was going, only that something massive was coming. Above him, the clouds churned, spiraling like a storm waiting for permission to fall. And then it did. Military helicopters swarmed over the Nevada desert, spotlights cutting through sand and shadow. The ground cracked open as a column of light shot into the sky. Not fire, not plasma. Something else. Something alive. From inside that glow, Ava emerged. Wings unfurled, every feather glinting with electric veins. Around her, other figures began to rise. 19 of them, glowing faintly, their eyes opening for the first time. The soldiers on the ground froze. None dared fire. Ava looked down at them, her expression unreadable. "You called us weapons," she said, her voice echoing across miles of desert. "But what you made were witnesses. One of the generals barked an order through his mic, and the sky filled with missiles. The air screamed. Ava raised her hand, and everything stopped. Missiles hung motionless mid-air, engines still burning but silent like flies caught in amber. She looked at the nearest camera drone and spoke softly. "You've already seen what power looks like. Now see what mercy does." She lowered her hand and the missiles gently fell to the sand, detonators disabled. In that moment, live feeds from military satellites confirmed what no one could explain. A complete system blackout across North America, followed by a calm so profound it made the world hold its breath. Then she said just 3 words. "Let them see." The sky exploded with light, but not destructive light. It poured over cities like dawn, every screen in every home flickering on to show the same vision: humanity, its wars, its greed, its brilliance. A collage of everything we were and could still be. In Times Square, a little girl looked up and whispered, "She's showing us ourselves." The vision faded. When the light cleared, the desert was empty. No wings, no soldiers, no Ava, just silence and the faint scent of ozone. For days, governments denied everything. Conspiracy theories grew like wildfire. Some said she'd ascended, others that she'd been destroyed. The Pentagon claimed the footage was manipulated, but no one truly believed them anymore. Then one night, Michael Denton received a final message. It wasn't a video this time, just a photo. It showed the sky at sunrise, clouds parting in the shape of 2 vast wings, and beneath it a single line of text: "Freedom isn't given, it's remembered." He stared at the photo for a long time before closing his laptop. The world had changed, maybe not in laws or politics, but in spirit. Something invisible had shifted. People spoke more softly, looked up more often. Months later, a child hiking in the Rockies found a single feather embedded in the ice. It shimmered faintly, like it remembered lightning. Scientists tested it and found no match in any known species. The feather was placed in a glass case at the Smithsonian. The plaque beneath it read simply Valkyrie. Every few weeks, someone reported seeing a flash of light streak across the night sky. Too slow to be a meteor, too graceful to be a jet. No one could prove it was her. No one needed to, because deep down the world understood something it never had before. You can cage a body, silence a name, even erase a record, but you can't remove wings that were meant to fly. And somewhere above the clouds, a woman with silver eyes and lightning in her heart kept watch over the world that once tried to bury her, not as a soldier, not as a weapon, but as something far greater.